Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab where I do what I do for you. And we about to talk about my favorite subject. Anybody know? Anybody know? Hands here. God. Who knew? All right, you know the deal. I'm about to have some fun. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know where I was at. I'm sorry, but this got this over. We about to talk about my favorite subject, God. I think I did that already. But the concept is having that spiritual conversation, okay, where up here, that's God, okay? Let's talk about it. Right, there's a 25-year-old to live by storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give real life lessons. You turn in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we go with this? So let me ask the question. Let's get together. So I ask the question: do you know you? You will when I'm through. Yeah, that's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to Maya be true. Right thinkers, again, having that spiritual conversation with God, aka meditation. I'm a prayer warrior, okay? I don't pray out loud. Why? I do my work up here. That's where God hears me. Let me get to this right quick. But before I start, I was in a spot where I work and teaching, and we had this daily class, and they want everybody to go around and pray. I let the brother know I don't pray out loud. What do you want me to do? Oh, we want to hear your words of wisdom. My pastor, best friend, I let him know I don't pray out loud. This brother will never ask me to pray out loud. Well, you know that's not my thing. But he said, brother, right? It's just like talking to God. So I know that, pastor, but I do that in my mind all the time. I know what it is. I just don't do it out loud. But he ain't forcing me or putting me on the spot to have me pray. That's my point. Two different kinds of dudes. That's what I wanted to show you. And everybody got their own concept, but one wanted to bring it out. One respects. Deal with the one who respects. I have my awakening, what they call it, the awakening, enlightening, about my spiritual conversation with God over 15 years now. Okay, so it's been a minute. I'm like, wow, every time I look back, yeah, it's getting further and further away, so I like that. And now he speaks to me daily in my meditation. Why? When we praying, I'm talking. I know the difference between praying and meditating. But I don't know how to have a conversation with God now. We talk, I'm like we just talked, me and my dad, okay? That's how I put it in that context in my mind. You'll never hear me verbally call out God's name, call my old man's name out. Why? I don't do that. That's why. It's all mental. When we pray, we are having that spiritual internal conversation, but we're doing the talking to our higher self, who hopefully will hear what we want and work with us on that. That's praying. I'm a practicing yogi where I meditate, and that whole purpose is to be able to commune with God and get some lessons from God straight from the source. Okay? Like my man Frank Lucas, when he wanted to sell the opium, he went straight to the source. Got it dirt cheap and did his thing. Why? Kept it good, kept what the people want. I did the same thing back in my day, and I understand the concept. Now I'm doing it with my spirituality. How about that? Same philosophy, same way I'm using it. Just now it's for the betterment for those who want to practice and use it. That's the difference. And when you're having a conversation with God, that's when you're doing the praying. But when you're doing the listening, he got my attention. I told everybody, I told my brother a long time ago, dude, he came in the Vince Lombardi voice, not Morgan Freeman, not James Earl Jones, Vince Lombardi. Why? Because my subconscious know before I got this enlightenment, I was nowhere near this when that happened. How did he know to come into that voice? Why? My favorite coach, my favorite subject being God. In football, my favorite coach was Vince Lombardi. Favorite player, Lawrence Taylor, Gail says. So it knew how to get my attention. I'm like, whoa. Somebody talking. So yeah, I've been using it ever since, but I just cannot tell you that story. We are spiritual beings in the physical form with God, but we're in the spirit, in the human form for experience, what? For our consciousness to connect with our heart, mind, coherence, becoming one. That's the ticket back home. Our ancients taught that thousands of years ago. Now y'all got this nonsense where God's sitting up high and looks down low and all this nonsense. But I can't get the truth in edgewise, so I just keep plugging along. That's I'm doing it right now. All right. Again, we're spiritual beings. God's in the flesh. So that makes us what? All gods. If you got spirit in you, it's of God. Please understand that. But when I meditate, I'm having that spiritual conversation, but I'm on the receiving end. Why? Because God is doing the talking and I'm doing the listening. That's the pineal gland transmitting from what? The source. They knew that. They knew that. They knew that. And they dressed it up, disguised it, symbolized it, metaphoricalized it, everything they could. And we're still missing the boat today. I went back to get the original. It still works, all right? But when I'm in a meditative state of mind, I'm listening to God. How many people can say they listen to God? My pastor clearly tells me he gets his information downloaded from God. I don't argue at a point where I know just what he means. I fully understand. He might not understand the pineal gland. He might not know nothing about the Egyptian philosophy about knowing thyself and going about. He used his own intuitive knowledge, his own understanding of the Bible and make it work for him. I understand that. And he's fully aware of that. Why? He communicates with God on a regular basis. And he can verbalize. When that brother get to praying, that brother pray. Okay? He can pray. So I listen. Why? Because he's talking, like he said, I just talk. And that's he said, God speaking through him. I understand that. Moving on. Again, spirituality comes in all shapes, sizes, and forms. If you're egotistical, you're not spiritual. You're ignorant. You cannot be blessed. Why? You will never do the things that being blessed will earn you. You're never going to do it for nobody but yourself. That's why selfish people don't get blessed. That's the difference. But y'all may be rewarded with monetary things. You may get a few people to let you have your way and all that nonsense, but that ain't a blessing. All right? But doing meditation, you're hearing what that spiritual voice, not with these ears, but with the internal, to be what? Blessed by. That's the what blesses you. That's God. That's who you should be listening to. That's the voice that's inside of you. Concept of the angel and the devil, that's two sides of the hemisphere. They've been playing that game since forever. Why? That's the fact. It ain't going to change. Just symbolically understand and get the esoteric meaning, and I'm doing this show you balance. I'm telling you equanimity. Think with both sides of your brain, pros and cons. How much more? Calm down. Yeah, I get excited. Sorry about that. When I get to talking God, I like to lose my mind. But the idea that you need to know these things so that you can experience God and you have fun with it too, like I am. I'm just enamored with it. We call it that feeling, that gut. Okay. Some say the angel. Okay. We know it as your higher self, God. But always listen to your higher conscious. Let your conscience be your God. The last time I did listen to my conscience, I ended up in prison. That was over 40-something years ago. I've been listening ever since. Get the concept? And if you're in tuned enough to hear God's voice in your head, Stop. Why? Still yourself and what? Listen and pay attention. He's wanting your attention. He wants your attention. And when you don't do that, you feel like, okay, well, he must don't care. So he going about his business. And you still floundering around, wonder why I ain't getting blessed. Still doing the same dumb stuff. Well, I heard a voice. I don't know what it meant. Okay, you still floundering around. Listen to the voice intently and follow the lead. That's how you become spiritually enlightened. And that's how you get your communication with God on a regular basis. When I was ego tripping, that voice, so low, okay, now that the voice is loud as all and clear. Back then, he was trying. I just wasn't listening. I get that concept now. A few things I didn't pay attention to, and I'd be the first to admit. But now, man, I don't do nothing but listen to that voice. Loud and clear, okay? I'm listening for it. I listen to this day. In my meditation, I meditate every day. Why? So I can get some information from God. I listen to that voice daily. And I also answer the voice with good deeds that earns me blessings. I call it my right thinking philosophy, but it's living right, doing right, and just putting yourself in a position that God will recognize what you do and you earn your blessings. I don't need a religion to profess to do that. If you're being taught to from inside yourself, that's when you need to understand that it ain't just you. You are the ego. That's you. But you got something else that you talk to. That's your higher you. Hello? Sorry. You feel me with that? And when you understand that, that's when you can have your spiritual conversation. And when you do that on the regular, you have your spiritual enlightenment. You're starting to learn something that intuitively you're starting to get from yourself, not from the outside. And if you got good teachers, they can put you in that frame of mind and help you out. But you need to make that distinction in your own mind for yourself. That's called a mystical experience. God is a mystery to those who are ignorant of him. When you pray, and everybody love to pray, that's because you asking. That's begging. Okay? You pray for somebody else's good health and fortune. That's the first thing. Most of us pray for something for themselves. That's selfish. Okay, that's the first part. But when you pray, that means you're having a spiritual conversation, but it's only going to go one way. You're doing the conversating. And if you're in tune with God, if you're conscious of God, then that will fall on God's ears. But along with that prayer comes what? Good, righteous, and virtuous deeds. Without that, prayer means nothing. God hears it, but without those deeds, no response, okay? Like putting the money in the machine, it's out of order. You don't realize that until you put your money in. Now, that money gone. You can't get it back. That's why. And what happens? When you pray, you're having spiritual conversation. That things that you want to do or things that you want. So, I'm a prayer warrior. Watch this. And I'm on a prayer line. I want to know how many people on there because I'm going to put them in prayer my way. It won't be verbally, but it will be internally, and it will be in prayer. I look out for all my church family. People who I can just call names out. When I do my regular prayer, I just call names out. Whatever comes in my mind, whoever pops in my head. That's how I do what I do. And that's praying for everybody other than myself. I want God to help others, okay? I'm helping myself. I'm good. But I don't pray out loud. There's no need to talk to God the way I'm talking to you. I don't need to have this conversation outward when I'm talking to God. Well, it's inward. Hope that makes sense to you. Hope you understand that. So I pray inwardly again. I'm backing up my pastor's prayers with my mental prayer where I got a connection to God. I know God personally. Yeah, trust me. So if I'm praying for you and you doing the things you need to do, you'll be fine. All right? My spiritual conversations are all internal, as is all ours when they pray. But people pray out loud. But me, I keep it inside. I just keep it internal, not verbal. If you understand that, it makes more sense than saying a bunch of words that everybody else can hear. I don't need you to hear what I'm saying to God. I need God to hear it. And his ears is not for my verbal words. It's here. Hope you understand the concept. That's what I'm talking about, the power of the mind. I know this thing. I know it's the most sophisticated machinery we have, and I use it to the best of my ability. And that's how you get to God, by using this thing here, not other stuff. Belief. I can't pray out loud, and I won't. Why? Because my voice will crack, because I will cry when I'm starting to think about the things. I can't express them in words. Only here. See that? You hear that? That's the spirit building up. Why? If I do that, that will take over. That's why. That ain't my thing. I'm an internal prayer. I can't stand up in church and testify. Ooh, no. That's the spirit, okay? I ain't trying to release the cracking in front of my church people, so I maintain my cool. And again, my sincerity to my higher self is expressed through my emotions. If I talk out loud, start to get a little touchy there. Why? Because you get emotional. When I get emotional and my heart gets full, ain't nothing I can do. Now we'll flood over and I'm going to cry. That's why I stay away from that whole concept. Why? When you go down the road, at a certain point, you can't turn back, or you're going all the way. You're going to go to the end. So I try to stay clear of that. Moving on, I got to get out there right now. In my meditation state, I'm having a spiritual conversation. But it's me doing the listening. Again, I love meditating. Why? Because that's when I get to hear the word of God internally within myself. I don't need no damn books for that. Sit in a nice place in my car, mostly in my lab, and just let it go. Just let it be. And when I come back, time that went by, don't care, okay? But I did my thing, moving on, and that's my little time with my higher self. That's all. Sometimes I go do it formally, go out back, go to my little ritual spot over there, right there, whatever. But it's time spent with what? You and your higher self. That's all. You also have spiritual conversations when you go into the meditation state daily. That's what I mean by what I communicate with God on a day-to-day basis. It ain't every now and then. It ain't just when I go to church. No, it ain't just on Wednesday in the prayer line. No. All right? I meditate daily and more than I pray. How about that? I don't need to do a whole bunch of praying. Again, no. But I need to do a lot of meditating. Two different things. Why? I'm meditating, I'm listening, praying, I'm talking. I ain't got a whole bunch of jibber jabber for God. I got a whole bunch of listening I like to hear. Why? Because he talks real well too. And my prayers are what? Me talking when I'm praying to God. When I'm meditating, I ain't talking. I'm all ears. That's the difference. And when I'm praying, I'm asking God's advice or for something. Excuse me. When I'm meditating, I'm listening for God's advice on every important decision that I have to make in my life daily. I keep God in the mix. That don't mean I'm running around here raising the roof and praying the Lord or acting the fool. No, I just make better decisions knowing, God, this is the right thing to do. Okay, give me a sign. Everybody asks for a sign. If you can't read the damn sign, the sign say 55, you're doing 80. Did the sign make a difference? Moving on. I love meditating. When? Daily. I meditate all day long. Whenever I get a chance, I go right to meditating more. Why? I want to hear what God got to say. I got some new stuff. I want to hear what's going on. So I just tune in. Okay? That's my way of tuning into God personally. All right? I love meditating daily because that's my spiritual conversation that I have with God. Where, He's talking. I don't mind listening to God. I'd rather listen to him than talk to any family or friend. How about that right now? Listen to my pastor and my mother-in-law and my dude. I have my spiritual conversations when daily. Do you? And I'm just saying, I do what I do daily. I don't pick and choose. The question is, do you do it on a regular basis or every now and then or when the mood hits or when you need something? Most people only pray when they need something. If you're not in constant thought of God, a.k.a. God conscious, prayed up, meditative state of mind, you are what we call drifters. That means you have an idle mind, and your mind that's not on God is idle. And that's what the devil does his work at your weakest point when you ain't thinking about God. And that's when he come and get you. Those who keep God on their mind and keep their mind on God, Devil don't bother them. How many people you know like that? Are you one? I start my day, every day, of what? First of all, waking up and giving thanks to God. My pastor said, he says the prayer, the whole prayer before he hit the floor. I say, thank God. I don't go through all that, but I understand the brother still prays before he eat. So I respect his constant diligence to pray from God and do what he do all the time. He don't pick and choose. He don't sway. And I start my day giving thanks to God and have my spiritual conversation during that time when I'm washing up and refreshing. I'm all about God. We getting ready. And how about this? When I was a kid, I remember doing that. I'm doing it now and just naturally. I end my day with what? Giving thanks to God. Okay? And then my spiritual conversation ends with what? I go to sleep. And I wake up in the morning and I do it again. It's way of life. That's all. Ain't not special, just those things that you that's personal. You can do that. Nobody got to know about that. Okay? Everybody want everybody to know what they're doing. I don't need you to know everything I do. So understand that. But if you're in constant, consistent thought of God, that means the devil will leave you alone. I've been telling you that for long. The devil tell you that. I can't deal with them people who keep God. Oh, God, God, God. I can't stand them. See? Nowhere to get to him. No soft spots, no weaknesses. That's all you got to do. Put your armor on with God and the devil can't penetrate you. I heard I know all about that nonsense too, but yeah, I'm not here to preach, just teach. I'm wrapping up again with this one. When you have a constant spiritual conversation with God, that means you're being what? God conscious. Are you? I'm always talking to God, but more importantly, I'm always listening to God. That's the lesson. That's the idea of the conversation. You shouldn't be all the talking. You should do a lot of listening because God can talk. Trust me. In closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus a day. So I know that my right thinkers who had their own God conversation have passed away. I'll be right back.